Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Sakura had a crush on Naruto. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. Sasuke-kun, a quiet, soft voice said in the darkness. She stood there, again, at the same place where she tried to stop him from going. Sakura Haruno, one of the kunoichi of the hidden leaf village Konoha, stood there, looking at just darkness again, while the wind made her pink hair move slightly. She didn't took her emerald eyes away from where he once disappeared. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. I will get him back. It's a promise of a lifetime. She smiled a bit. She knows he is right. After all, he is Naruto Uzumaki, her teammate, her friend, the one on who she could rely on. The blonde-haired boy with bright blue eyes, that was always full with life when she saw him. But how can we find him? She whispered, looking down. We don't know where he is, we don't know what Orochimaru is doing to him. Maybe he is already dead. Sakura shook her head wildly. No, he is not dead. He's strong. Yes, because he is Sasuke Uchiha. The second last one of the Uchiha clan. Dark, sometimes with a mysterious blue shade, black hair and just plain black eyes, which could transform in the Sharingan. He then gained the look of a vicious person, with his eyes as red as blood. But he wasn't the only one. He has one brother, the one who killed the entire clan, Itachi Uchiha. That's why he left, Sakura whispered. To kill his older brother. To gain strength to do that. Sakura wrapped her arms around her. She only had a red, thin, long vest without sleeves and green knee-length shorts wearing. Standing there in the wind all the time makes it cold after a while. I don't want to go back. Maybe he's coming back right now. I mean, if he comes back, I want to be there to welcome him. And give him a slap in the face. But, I'll probably get weak in the knees again. Sakura laughed a nervous laugh. Sakura now shivered. Tears appeared in her eyes. She quickly wiped them away. I'm so stupid. Crying again over him. I don't want it to look like that. I can only cry, because I promised Naruto. I will get stronger, for the both of them. Sakura shivered again. Suddenly, she felt something warm on her shoulders. She looked behind her. A gently smile was seen on a young boy's face. What are you doing, Sakura-chan? You'll catch a cold like that. Naruto said, still his hands on her shoulders. Sakura looked surprised. Naruto? What are you doing here? Naruto still had a gentle smile on his face. His blue eyes looked even bigger in the dark. It was clearly to see that he wore the same thing he always does, an orange pants and a black t-shirt. Sakura had his jacket, which was also orange, and a bit of blue on the front and the back and a white collar. I could ask you the same question. I was looking for you. I hadn't seen you at all this afternoon. She cut him off. You were worried about me? She asked, her eyes wide, as if no one ever worried about her. Naruto blushed and scratched the back of his head. Well, yeah, I mean, Konoha isn't that big, you know. Sakura smiled, a soft expression on her face. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto blushed like mad now, and no problem, Sakura-chan. He tried to shake his blush off by changing the subject. So, what are you doing here, Sakura-chan? Sakura's smile disappeared again. Oh, well, nothing important really. She turned away from him, looking at where she was staring at before, holding Naruto's jacket that was over her shoulders tightly. Naruto looked with her, seeing the same as she did, darkness. Are you expecting someone? Sakura still looked forward, hiding her face from Naruto. No, not really. Sakura-chan, is it Sasuke? Although Naruto doesn't want to talk about her crush, he didn't want to see his crush sad. Sakura quickly turned around after hearing his name. What? How do you? Naruto cut her off. Sakura-chan, did you forget my promise? I will save him, remember? I'll bring him back, and you'll be happy again. While he said that last sentence, although he was smiling, he had a look of sadness in his eyes. He tried to hide it, of course, but Sakura could see it clearly. Naruto, I don't want you to do it alone. I want to help you, that's what I said, right? I'm going to become stronger, and if we save Sasuke, then we'll both be happy, we'll be a team again. Yeah, 3 men cell, huh? Naruto said, grinning. Sakura smiled too, right? Sakura stopped smiling and looked at Naruto. He seemed to be glowing. Naruto. Naruto stopped grinning, but a smile didn't left his face, He simply replied. The two looked at each other for a while. Neither of them said something, until Sakura took a step forward and hugged Naruto. Sakura-chan, what are you? Naruto stuttered, as his crush hugged him, and it felt like she hugged him with everything she got. Shush, she said, with her eyes closed, listening to his fastened heartbeat. Let's just stay like this for a while, please? Naruto gulped, but put his arms around Sakura, sure. Naruto smelled the scent of strawberries coming from Sakura. He loved the smell. He wouldn't mind if they stayed longer like this. Sakura sighed, a rather happy sigh. She felt comfortable and safe in Naruto's arms, something she would never feel if she would have done this with him when she just met him. Naruto smelled like the woods, and a bit like the winter. It seemed that this scent relaxed Sakura, as she inhaled it deeply. Although neither of them wanted to admit it to each other, they liked this very much. As much as they wanted to stay like this, they knew it had to end soon, it was getting late. Surprisingly, Naruto was the first one who pulled away. Sakura-chan, it's getting late. Maybe we should go home. Nodding, but a little disappointed, Sakura agreed, yes, we should. Naruto smiled, I'll walk you home, okay? Sakura nodded, and they walked home together. No one said something along the way, but they didn't had to. They enjoyed each other's company anyway. As they walked, they suddenly noticed that they were already at Sakura's house. Well, here we are, Sakura-chan, Naruto said as Sakura walked up at her door. Yeah, she said quietly. They didn't know what else to say. Naruto shuffled his feet a bit. Well, guess I'll be going now. Sakura nodded, thanks for walking me home, Naruto. Naruto smiled, no problem, Sakura-chan. I'll see you tomorrow again? Sakura nodded again, without saying a word. Naruto began to walk away, until he heard Sakura call out to him. Ah, Naruto? If you don't have anything tomorrow, would you like to go and eat some ramen with me at Ichiraku's? Naruto's eyes went wide and the biggest smile was seen on his face. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, Sakura-chan, that sounds great. But remember, it's not a date. She warned him. Naruto smiled with his eyes closed. No problem, I don't mind. See ya tomorrow, Sakura-chan. And with that, Naruto sped away. Sakura let out a little giggle as she saw him disappearing in the dark, before she went inside. Shanuru, you have a date, her inner Sakura yelled. Sakura blushed, it's not a date. She said out loud, it's just a friendly dinner, that's all. Tish, yeah, at his favorite ramen restaurant. Open your eyes girl and see Sasuke's competition. What? Competition over me? And no, I have a big forehead. Sakura said, as trying to come up for an excuse. Right, well, see for yourself tomorrow. Try and look dazzling. You mean the things I always wear? Sakura said, mocking her other self. Whatever, I'm out. Sakura giggled, already looking forward to tomorrow. Strange, she said to herself. Just when Sakura was about to go upstairs, she noticed something. I still have Naruto's jacket, she said, as she took his jacket in her hands. She secretly smelled at it, smiling. Looks like another reason to see him tomorrow. The next day came quick. Too quick, if you could ask Sakura. What exactly happened last night? She waited for Sasuke, again. But that night, it was different. Someone came for her. She knows it was not a dream, she remembers it so clearly. And if she still thought it was a dream, she just had to look besides her to see the jacket of the blonde-haired boy who was with her that night. Let's just stay like this for a while, please? Sakura closed her eyes. She could still feel his warmth. She felt so safe in his arms, like nothing could hurt her, because Naruto Uzumaki protected her. She suddenly giggled, like she remembered a good joke. She remembered that she asked him out. No, just a friendly dinner. What was I thinking? She asked herself out loud. Should I cancel it? No, I'm not backing down. This is gonna be a thank you, yes, that's it. She clenched her fists. Why was she feeling so nervous? It wasn't the first time she went out to dinner together with Naruto. Her train of thoughts were interrupted. Sakura, dear? Can you run some errands for me, please? Her mother called from downstairs. She sighed, she hated to run errands, but maybe it was good to take her thoughts off Naruto. Yes, Mom, I'll do it right away. Konoha Market Street. Let's see. Toilet paper, bread, butter and ramen? Sakura read out loud, and stopped at the word, ramen. Just when she thought she at least forgot about it for an hour, she started seeing Naruto's sweet smile from last night. That did not better her mood. Her heart was beating faster, only because the thought about Naruto. It couldn't be. No, it's not the same as when she thought about Sasuke. When she thought about Sasuke, she would squeal and shout to everyone that she loved the boy. She would be all giggly and dreaming about what could be, even though she was wide awake. But when she thought about Naruto, her heart would beat faster, and a blush would be seen on her face. She would look down to the ground, not facing anybody, seeming as if she was a really shy girl. Her thoughts were completely on this one boy, and only because of what happened last night. Or, did it already happened earlier, in one of their missions? Thought she didn't wanted to admit it, it felt nice to think about him. It gave her the feeling that she was alive. Her thoughts weren't in the real world anymore, they were floating somewhere, in space. She just walked straight past people, also past people she knew very well, too well. Well, I wouldn't think I would see you on Market Street, with your big forehead. A taunting, yet very familiar voice called out to Sakura. Ino had a grin on her face, her icy blue eyes looking at the pink-haired girl, knowing Sakura would say something back. But Sakura didn't even twitch, she just kept walking while looking down. This ticked Ino off. Hey, Sakura. I'm talking to you. Ino ran after her, not liking that Sakura ignored her. Ino stood before her, her blonde hair in a ponytail and her usual purple outfit, a purple skirt and purple vest with white arm warmers. This made Sakura come to a halt. She looked up, seeing the ticked-off face of Ino. "Oh, hey Ino," Sakura said. You could clearly hear that she wasn't totally back to the real world. Ino saw the absent look on Sakura's face, which made her a bit worried. She knew that Sakura thought about Sasuke almost every day. She was positive that Sakura thought about him right now. "Sakura, you want to talk about it?" Those last words made Sakura come back to the real world. Ino offered something to Sakura? Did she heard that clear? What? Sakura asked in shock. Ino sighed. "I said, you want to talk about it?" Was it so obvious that she thought about Naruto? Did she said his name out loud? Did she mumbled something about last night? Huh? Sakura asked again. Ino, this time, made a growl. "About Sasuke-kun. I'm talking about Sasuke-kun." "Geez, it's obvious you're thinking about him." Sasuke-kun. To tell the truth, Sakura completely forgot about Sasuke. Suddenly, Ino grabbed her shoulders and shook her, rather hard. "Wake up, girl. Sasuke Uchiha-kun. The Bishonen from our very own village?" Ino stopped shaking Sakura, but strangely, Sakura did not get mad. "Ah, no, not this time." Ino looked stunned, her mouth wide open. "No? What are you talking about? Ever since Sasuke-kun left, you haven't thought about anything else?" Sakura looked to her side, her eyes downcast. Ino sighed again. "Sakura, what is it? Can't you talk about it? Would you help you?" That is true. Even though Sakura is Ino's arch-rival when it comes to Sasuke, she was still her best friend. Because the memories of the past will never go away. Though Sakura was shocked, she knew she could count on Ino. But, she couldn't tell her about Naruto. About last night, about tonight. Ino would just laugh hard in her face. But, Sakura didn't know what she should do. This was just so confusing for her. Did Naruto become something more to her? Her best male friend, that's for sure. But, should she feel the way she feels right now about her best male friend? She wanted to talk to Ino about it, she just had to change her story a bit. Well, she began, it's about a boy, but she already was cut off by Ino. "Someone who's not Sasuke-kun?" She asked, eyes wide. "Why yeah," Sakura said, rather soft. "Are you in love with him? Who is it? Is it someone from another village?" "Ino, can I please tell it without any interruptions?" Sakura said, a bit annoyed because of Ino's questions. Yes, of course, continue." Ino said, giving Sakura the opportunity to continue. "Well, it's about a boy. No, I won't say a name, and no, he is from this village. And, I'm not sure if I'm in love with him. That's what worries me." "It worries you? How come?" Ino asked. "Because I have these feelings, but I can't just understand them," Sakura said, looking down again. Suddenly, Ino grabbed her hand, and led her outside the market street. "Come," she said, "we'll talk further on a much more quiet place." She led Sakura to a wooden bench, where they sat. "Now, what kind of feeling do you have when you think about him?" Ino asked, in a soft voice. "My heart beats fast," Sakura said, as she placed her hand on the spot where her heart was. "I blush like crazy, but it feels nice." Sakura looked at Ino, waiting for her to say something. Well, Sakura, do you want to be with this person? As in, being close to him, being in his arms? Sakura took a moment before she answered. Well, I don't know. I've always been with. Sakura stopped. If she would say that she's always been with Naruto because they're teammates, no one would know in an instant. I mean, I've seen him a lot, so I've always been close to him. She hoped Ino would buy that. Luckily, she did. I see. And you felt nice while being around him, right? Lately, yes. Sakura said, thinking about last night. Sakura, I can't say if you are in love or not with this guy. You're the only one who can. I can just say that you have to take your time with deciding. Try not to think about it too much, though, it will only confuse you more. Just try to do things with him, just the two of you. Like, take a walk, or go to dinner. Ino said, with softness in her voice, meaning every word she said. Actually, I'm going to dinner tonight with him. Sakura said, with a blush on her face. Are you serious? Ino almost screamed. That was fast. So you already took the first step, huh? Sakura nodded, still blushing. Ino noticed a little smile on her face, meaning she was feeling a bit better. This made Ino feel relaxed. Sakura, this may sound really cliché, but you can only listen to your heart. Ino smiled. Sakura smiled too. You know, that really sounds cliché. Shut up, forehead girl. Whatever, Ino pig. Everything was normal again. Thought Sakura didn't yet knew what she felt for Naruto. Ino's words made her feel relaxed. But really, thank you Ino. Ino smiled. No problem, Sakura. The two smiled at each other for a short while, until Sakura broke their silence. The errands. I have to pick up things for my mom. This seemed to scare Ino, as if she remembered something. Me too. Gotta go Sakura. Have fun tonight, Ino said as she stood up fast and ran towards Market Street. Yeah, thanks Ino, bye. Sakura said, as she also stood up and ran towards the other side of Market Street. Later. Phew, thank God I've got everything before they closed. Sakura said as she carried a bag with groceries. She felt happy after her talk with Ino, and was already looking forward to tonight. Sakura-chan, a voice yelled behind her. She knew it very well, and at that moment, her heart skipped a beat. Naruto, she said, hoping she didn't blush, as she saw him run towards her. Sakura-chan, about tonight. Naruto began. Oh, no. He's not canceling tonight, right? She thought, but Naruto continued. What time should I pick you up? Naruto asked, with a big grin on his face. Sakura let out a little sigh of relief. How's about 7? Sakura suggested. Perfect. I'll pick you up at 7. See you then, Sakura-chan. Naruto waved goodbye before he ran away. A little breeze went through Sakura's hair as she watched Naruto run off towards the sunset. I'm looking forward to it, Sakura whispered, as she headed home, to prepare herself for her night out with Naruto. No, arg. These clothes are all no good, Sakura yelled, as she tried to pick out an outfit for her dinner with Naruto. Wait, we're only going to go to Ichiraku's. No need to dress up. She made a nervous laugh. She looked at her clock, 6:30. Only a half an hour until Naruto comes. Suddenly someone knocked on her door, and before Sakura could say something, her mother barged in. Oh, Sakura, dear. Do you want to know what I wore at your dad and I first date? No, Sakura replied, a bored look on her face. And I don't want to know. But her mother continued, oh, our first date was so romantic. Although we didn't go to a ramen bar. Her mother said, while placing a hand under her chin, as if she was trying to go back to that time. Mom, Sakura almost screamed, blushing. It's not a date, just a friendly dinner. I want to thank him. Oh dear, everyone denies it. I know how you feel. But don't worry, I won't tell a soul. Now, who was it again? He mother asked, a smile on her face. Sakura sighed, Naruto mom. Naruto Uzumaki. As soon as she said his name, her mother's smiling face turned into a white, scared one. What? Her mother asked. Sakura clearly could hear the shock in her voice. This made Sakura uncomfortable. Why yeah, you know mom. Naruto, my teammate? You know, our genin group? Darn, Sakura never told her mother that. I forbid it, her mother suddenly screamed out. Sakura was sure that everyone who was outside could hear it. Sakura was shocked, her eyes wide. What? Why? Her mother explained, that boy is a monster. Don't you know what happened 15 years ago? How many people have died? That is not Naruto's fault. Sakura retorted. They still thought Naruto was like that he was the same as the nine-tailed fox, who killed many Konoha shinobi 15 years ago. No, but he has that monster inside him. That also makes him a monster. How could you? Sakura whispered. Naruto never chose to have the Kyuubi sealed inside him. Tears formed in her eyes. She could see young Naruto standing there, alone, with no one who cared for him. Oh, how she wanted to go to him. To play with him, to see him smile. Sakura clenched her fists. He didn't even have a choice. It's all the fourth Hogake's fault. The fourth Hokage saved us. Don't you dare say that, her mother said. And don't you dare to say that Naruto is a monster. He is one of the best shinobi in this village. You don't even know him. I know him well enough because of the past. Sakura cut her off. No you don't. She walked to the door, with Naruto's jacket in her right hand. You know what, mother? I don't care what you say. I trust Naruto. I know Naruto. He isn't like the people here say he is. Sakura began walking downstairs, her mother still at the doorway of Sakura's room. Sakura, if you go, you're grounded for the rest of your life. Her mother yelled. Sakura didn't look at her as she opened the front door. That's a risk I'm gladly to take. She went outside and slammed the door hard behind her. Her mother sighed and closed her eyes. I can't stop her, she is just like me. I was exactly the same when my mother told I couldn't date my husband. She smiled a bit. Well, I guess I should trust Sakura's heart on this one. Outside, Sakura sighed. It's true, she never told her mother about Naruto. Even that he was one of her teammates. She only talked about Sasuke. Sakura sighed again and sat on the floor. She looked at her watch. Only 5 minutes until Naruto would arrive. She looked up, to the sky. It looks like it's gonna be a starry night. Sakura-chan. She heard a yell coming from her right. She knew immediately who it was. She stood up. Naruto. She waved, letting him know that she stood there. He waved back, a big smile on his face. She could clearly see what he was wearing, a simple orange t-shirt with black pants. He didn't have his headband on, and somehow, Sakura thought he looked cute with his bangs just above his eyes. He finally reached Sakura. Sakura-chan, were you waiting here long? Naruto asked. Sakura shook her head. No, I just got outside. She saw a sudden blush on Naruto's face. Why you look nice, Sakura-chan. Sakura looked at her clothes. She had a combination on she tried earlier. She was dressed in a red skirt with her symbol on it that reached just above her knees. She was also wearing a green-blue tank top with a thin, white vest to make it complete. She had her hair in a ponytail, and also didn't have her headband on. She smiled. Thank you Naruto. You look pretty good yourself too. Naruto grinned, his hands behind his head. Hee, don't I? Special for tonight. Sakura giggled. Naruto, remember, it's not a. But Naruto cut her off. I know. It's not a date. But, it's still special to me. Sakura looked at him, with quite a shocked look on her face. Huh? Because, he said, looking into her eyes. I'm together with Sakura-chan, that's all that matters for me. Sakura blushed, her heart beating faster. Naruto. But she was cut off by a strange sound, yet familiar. Naruto put his hand on his stomach. Ah ha ha, I guess I'm hungry. Sakura giggled, finding it quite amusing. Shall we, Sakura-chan? Naruto asked, with outstretched arm, which Sakura took gladly. Lead the way, Sakura said, as they began to walk. But after a few steps, they stopped. Naruto turned to look at Sakura with big eyes. You don't know the way to Ichiraku's? Sakura twitched, before giving him a smack on the head. Just walk, baka. They began to walk again, Naruto touching his bump, unable to notice that Sakura gave a slight giggle. At Ichiraku's. Here you go. 2 miso ramen. Thank you, old man. Naruto said as he began to dig in. Itadakimasu. Both he and Sakura said. You just had to blink, or Naruto had his bowl already empty. Second, please. Sakura stopped eating and looked at her bowl. Something was on her mind. Naruto. She began, and Naruto looked up. About yesterday, Sakura said, as she stopped. Naruto blushed as he remembered the hug. Sakura continued, I'm sorry. This took Naruto off guard. Huh? Why? I was a burden again for you. She looked down, not wanting to face Naruto. What are you talking about, Sakura-chan? You weren't a burden for me, and you'll never will. You know that. Wanting to touch her shoulder, but she turned away so that he couldn't reach. Then why do I see myself as a burden for you? Yesterday, I was waiting for him again. And every night, when I go home, I feel so weak. And when you came yesterday, I was so ashamed that you saw me like this. Especially after I told you that I would become stronger. Sakura-chan, you don't have to do that alone. Although I don't really understand it, because you are already strong in my eyes, I want to help you reach your goal. No matter what it takes. Naruto, Sakura said, with tears in her eyes. This alarmed Naruto. I'm sorry Sakura-chan. Did I hurt you? Did I say something bad? Sakura wiped her tears away with a smile on her face. No, Naruto. You didn't say anything wrong. Thank you. Naruto gave a little sigh of relief, and smiled at her. Sakura smiled back, feeling strangely happy at this moment. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Sakura and Naruto quickly looked at the owner, with looks that could kill. It's nothing like that, you hentai. They both screamed, before the owner turned away, to make some more ramen. Although they both went quiet after that, they blushed at what the owner said. What if, after dinner? That was great, Naruto said, as he stretched his arms under the bright night sky. It sure was, Sakura said, smiling. I really enjoyed tonight, Naruto. Naruto blushed, but had a sweet smile on his face. Me too, Sakura-chan. Should I walk you home? Sakura nodded. Yes, thank you Naruto. But as soon as they left, Sakura was beginning to shiver. There was a cold wind blowing, even though it was summer. She made a little whimper, and held her arms around her. As soon as she did that, she felt something warm around her shoulders. She looked up, and saw that Naruto placed his jacket around her shoulders, again. Naruto wore a gentle smile on his face. Sakura began to blush. Thanks, Naruto. Well, we can't have you getting sick, right Sakura-chan? There it was again. That strange, warm feeling. The feeling that made her felt safe. The feeling that made her feel loved. The feeling that she never had with Sasuke. She tightly shut her eyes and began shaking her head. Of course, this did not go unnoticed. Sakura-chan? What's wrong? Are you hurt? Don't you feel well? Naruto asked worried, as he stood before her. Suddenly, tears fell down on the ground, making Naruto even more worried. Sakura-ch. I'm sorry, Naruto. I'm so sorry. He could hear fear in her voice, like she's scared of something. I want to save him. I want to save Sasuke-kun. Sakura's voice trembled. Of course, Sasuke. Naruto knew he would never stand a chance against him when it comes to Sakura. He wanted to save him too, of course. What was she saying? Of course she wants to save Sasuke, but that's not what she felt right now. Did she make this up? Just to not blow her cover? She heard feet shuffle, and suddenly, two arms were wrapped around her. Those same arms. Sakura closed her eyes and buried her face in his chest, but she was not hugging him back. She wouldn't care if anyone saw her at that moment. She just kept on crying, as Naruto kept hugging her. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. I want him back too. We'll do it together. We'll get him back, Naruto said, closing his eyes. He would do anything for Sakura, even though it would hurt himself. He pushed her softly off him, but he was still holding her shoulders. She was not facing him, she still looked down, with tears streaming down her face. I know, she said softly. I know, Naruto. He smiled softly as he put his index finger under her chin, making her look up. Don't cry, Sakura-chan. Let this not ruin our night. She giggled a bit. This wasn't a date, Naruto. She said as she wiped her tears. Darn. He sighed. Well, shall we go? Yes, we shall. Sakura replied as they began to walk again. Their walk was quiet, and before they knew it, they were in front of Sakura's house. Well, Naruto began. Here we are again. Sakura only nodded. She suddenly jumped and took the jacket off her shoulders. She handed them to Naruto. Here, before I forget to give it to you again. She smiled. She's beautiful, Naruto thought, as he saw her smile, which made him smile too. He took the jacket. Thanks, I really had a great time, you know. Sakura nodded, me too. It stayed quiet for a bit, while a strong wind suddenly swept Sakura in Naruto's arms. Sakura-chan, are you alright? Naruto asked, as he catches her before she could fall down. She quickly stood up, still in his arms, blushing. Sorry, I didn't know the wind was that strong. She giggled nervously. She looked into his eyes and noticed they were almost hypnotizing. And it seemed he thought the same thing about her eyes. They moved in closer, as if something pushed them from behind. Their eyes almost closed, while they reached in. "Sakura, come inside, or you'll maybe wake the neighbors." Her mother's voice called from above. Quickly, they pushed each other away, blushing. Sakura cleared her throat. I guess. I go inside now. So I'll see you tomorrow? Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Sakura-chan. Good night, Naruto. Sakura said, as she saw Naruto walk off yet again. She opened her door, and as soon as she closed it behind her, she had a shocked look on her face. What just happened? The next day wasn't a typical summer day, it was raining. But that didn't take Sakura's mood down. Almost every half hour, she let out a happy sigh. Even when she was training to become a medical ninja. This did not go unnoticed by Tsunade, the fifth Hokage of Konoha. Tsunade wanted to know what was going on with Sakura. And when the Hokage wants to know something, she will get the answer. When Sakura let out another happy sigh, Tsunade decided to ask, "Sakura, what's wrong? You're not concentrating on that fish before you at all." It's true, Sakura was given, again, the assignment to revive the fish with her medical ninjutsu. The sudden talking of Tsunade startled Sakura a little. It's nothing, Hokage-sama. I'm sorry, Sakura said, as she stretched her arms out above the fish, while a green glow came out of her hands. Tsunade sighed, and walked over to Sakura. Sakura looked up as Tsunade stood beside her, always amazed of how beautiful she looked. Her long, blonde hair was in two ponytails and a little crystal-like object on her forehead. She wore a long, green jacket and under a gray vest with black pants. "Sakura, you know you can't lie. I can see clearly that something happened. Something good, as I can judge from your size," Tsunade said, as she looked at Sakura with a small smile on her face. "I sighed out loud?" Sakura thought, blushing. "That obvious, huh? If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But don't let it affect your training." No, Hokage-sama. I want to talk about it. Because I think you might be able to help," Sakura said, carefully choosing her words. Is it about love?" Tsunade said, immediately hitting the right spot. Sakura went wide-eyed. "How do you know that?" Tsunade grinned. But I know everything about love." Tsunade laughed, a rather maniacally laugh. "Is she serious?" Sakura thought, as she looked at Tsunade. "Well, who is it?" Tsunade asked right after she was done laughing. "Do I know him?" Sakura blushed again. "Yeah. Who is it? Tell me already." Tsunade suddenly burst out. "Naruto." Sakura whispered, soft, but hard enough for Tsunade. She was clearly shocked. "That punk?" Sakura hid her eyes, blushing furiously. Tsunade continued. "And you are in love with him?" "I don't know. I mean, I never saw him that way, I never thought about it that way. It was always Sasuke," Sakura explained. Tsunade sighed, and motioned to Sakura to sit down on the ground. Sakura did as she was told, as she sat down. "Are you still thinking about him? Sasuke, that is?" Tsunade asked. "I waited for him again, 2 days ago," Sakura said, holding her knees. "Sakura, I know. I just can't help it. Do you still love him?" Tsunade asked, actually startling Sakura. "I don't know anymore," Sakura said, but immediately continuing. "When I waited for Sasuke, Naruto came. He said he was worried about me. He knew I was waiting for Sasuke, he just never said it. He cared for me, and I never noticed until that night, that he always cared for me. I was so stupid that I didn't look beyond Sasuke. That's what you learn in due time. And sometimes you have to learn it the hard way. But that isn't helping me," Sakura said, actually wanting to hear some advice. "I know it's not, but what do you feel yourself?" Tsunade asked. Confused, Sakura answered bluntly. Tsunade laughed. She knew she would get such an obvious answer. "Well, what can you do? You tell me, I don't have a clue. Naruto is nice. He gives me a nice, warm and safe feeling. And I just feel that I want to hang out with him some more." "Doing so to sort out your feelings?" Tsunade asked. Sakura nodded. Suddenly, Tsunade showed her a piece of paper. Sakura took it, and read it out loud. "The summer festival is here. Don't miss it, there's going to be fireworks at the end of the festival. Lots of fun games and lots of food." Sakura was quiet for a while, looking at the poster. She looked up at Tsunade. "You're saying I should go to the festival with Naruto?" Tsunade nodded. "Yeah, why not? It's tomorrow night. To sort out your feelings, right? Tsunade smiled with her eyes closed. Sakura smiled back, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Sakura stood up and headed for the door. She suddenly stopped and turned around to face Tsunade. Is it okay that I leave now, Hogake-sama? I really want to invite Naruto right now. Tsunade smiled, of course. But when you come to training again, I do not want you out of it again, alright? Yes, Sakura said happily as she walked out the door. Tsunade sighed, ah, young love is the best. Do your best, my precious student. Outside. Darn, I should have brought an umbrella with me from inside. Sakura thought, as she ran in the rain, onto Naruto's house. But she didn't care about the rain, though. She found it rather relaxing. There it is. Sakura arrived at Naruto's house. But she didn't even know if he was home. She knocked on his door. Nothing. She called his name. Nothing. She jumped on the roof so that she could see his room. No one was inside. He's not home? Sakura thought as she jumped down again. Great, now I'm soaked. Just as when she was about to go home, the felt that the rain had stopped. Huh? She asked out loud, as she could see it was still raining in front of her. It seems that you keep forgetting things these days, Sakura-chan. A sweet, caring voice said. Sakura looked behind her as she saw Naruto standing there holding an umbrella above her head. Somehow, she was relieved to see his smiling face, but she kept her cool. Where were you, Baka? I've looked for you everywhere. Naruto winced. I'm sorry, Sakura-chan. But there was a sale on ramen, I just had to get it. He said, showing the plastic bag to Sakura. Indeed, it was full of instant ramen cups. Sakura giggled. She should have known. Naruto and his stomach. So, what are you doing here, Sakura-chan? Do you need something? Ah, well, I want to ask you something. Sakura began, but was cut off by Naruto. Ah, Sakura-chan, tell it to me inside. You are soaked. Come, I have towels in my house. Naruto said, as he opened his door. Sakura, though, looked shocked. Inside his house. I've never been in his house. Get a grip, Sakura girl. He's just being polite. She shook her head as she followed Naruto inside. Here you go, Naruto said grinning while handing Sakura a towel. Thanks, Sakura said, while drying herself. Without herself noticing, she sat on his bed. So, Sakura-chan, what's on your mind? Naruto asked, as he put away the instant ramen cups. Ah, right, look at this Naruto. Sakura said, as she grabbed the poster from her pocket. But the poster was soaking wet. Ah, it's wet, Sakura said, not expecting that. Naruto laughed, no matter, what was on it? Well, there's going to be a festival tomorrow, and… ah, I've seen a poster of that. Free food, Naruto said, drool coming from his mouth at the mention of food. Sakura twitched, that's not what I wanted to say. Naruto, shall we go together? They both said at the same time. They blinked, but laughed after that. Of course I want to go with you, Sakura-chan. Even if you didn't ask me today, I still would have asked you. Naruto grinned, sitting next to her on his bed. I'm glad, Naruto. Sakura said, smiling also. So, you're gonna go in those traditional kimonos? Naruto asked. Sakura looked up, like she was thinking about her answer. I don't know. I don't think a kimono is really my thing. Well, it doesn't matter, Sakura-chan. You would look pretty anyhow. Naruto said grinning, half blushing. This made Sakura blush like mad, though. She looked at Naruto, checking if he meant it. Naruto stopped grinning and looked at Sakura, still smiling. He meant it. They were again so close. She could easily reach in. He could easily reach in. Ah, and Naruto, I forgot. I have to do some errand for my mother. I have to go. Sakura quickly sputtered, handing him his towel. Thanks for lending me this. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be waiting at the entrance for you at 7, okay? Bye, Sakura said, as she quickly ran outside, a blush clearly seen on her face. Sakura-chan. Naruto yelled, but it went unheard. Sakura was already too far away. Sakura-chan. It seemed like the weather gods were hearing Sakura's call. It was the perfect weather for the summer festival. Sakura woke up with a smile, already looking forward to tonight. Naruto thought so too. He felt he was dreaming the last 3 days. He feared he was going to wake up today, just before they went to the summer festival. Ouch! Naruto exclaimed as he pinched himself. Well, he thought, you can't be too sure. He did his morning ritual, which included eating breakfast at Ichiraku's. He walked outside, greeted by the already warm morning sun. It's going to be a perfect day today, he said to himself, grinning. He already reached Ichiraku's until a familiar voice called out to him. Hey, Naruto. He recognized the voice, Iruka-sensei. Naruto exclaimed, turning around to greet him. Getting ramen again for breakfast? Iruka asked smiling, actually already knowing the answer. Naruto grinned, yep, you want to join me, Iruka-sensei? Iruka laughed, so I can pay, again, huh? Naruto put his hands behind his head, it's for a good cause. I have to save money, you see. Saving money? For what? Iruka asked, a bit confused. Naruto began to blush, for tonight. Tonight's the festival, right? Don't tell me. You have a date? Iruka asked dumbfounded. This made Naruto blush harder, as so what? Yes, I have a date. Although, she would never call it a date. Iruka put his hand under his chin. Oh? Then, it's Sakura? What? How do you know, Iruka-sensei? Iruka laughed, let's discuss this inside, shall we, Naruto? He led Naruto inside Ichiraku's. As they sat down, ordering their ramen, they continued the conversation. So, Iruka began, you finally asked her out? Finally? What do you mean by that? Naruto asked, as he got his bowl with ramen. Well, obviously you have a crush on her. Iruka said, calmly. Naruto blushed like mad. I don't know what you are talking about, Iruka-sensei. He sputtered. Has it been that obvious? Come on, Naruto. It's been obvious. You always had a crush on her since the academy. Iruka said, laughing. So, who asked who? Well, Naruto said, his blush disappearing. We actually asked each other at the same time. See, she came yesterday to my house to ask me. But we ended up asking each other. Really? She wanted to ask you first? Iruka said, a little shocked. Naruto nodded, I don't know what happened, but it just turned out this way. Naruto said, as he finished his bowl. Do you love her? Iruka asked suddenly, seriousness clearly seen on his face. Naruto did not flinch. He didn't sputter, he didn't go in denial. He blushed a bit though, thinking about his answer. But he didn't have to think for long, he could say for certain. He turned to Iruka, his blue eyes almost piercing him. Yes. That was his answer, no doubt heard in his voice. Iruka smiled, seeing how much Naruto has grown. Not only in ninjutsu, but also about personal things. Much like love. Do you think she's in love with you? Iruka now asked a difficult question for Naruto. Naruto looked down, I don't know. That was true, he really didn't know. What makes you think she doesn't? Sasuke. Naruto said, clearly saying his name. Iruka sighed, he knew that this kind of answer would come. She still loves him? She waited for him again, 3 days ago. Naruto said, tightly gripping the fabric of his pants. Iruka sighed again. But doesn't that mean that she just wants him back? I don't know, Naruto said again. But I'm almost certain she doesn't feel anything like that for me. Almost? Iruka asked, a little smile seen on his face. I can always hope, can't I? Naruto said, looking up to Iruka with a little smile on his face. Yes, you can. Iruka smiled. Well, thanks for the ramen, Iruka-sensei. I gotta go now. Are you going to the festival too tonight? Naruto asked, standing up. Well, who knows? Great. I see you then, maybe. Naruto said, as he ran out Ichiraku's, waving. Do your best, Naruto. Iruka said, as he began to pay the bill. 6:30 p.m., Naruto's house. The day went fast, but that didn't bother him. He couldn't wait until he got at the festival. His clothes were, yet again, simple, long, blue pants with on top of that a simple black t-shirt and a completely orange jacket to finish it. He wondered what Sakura is wearing. Is she going to wear a kimono, or just regular clothes? He couldn't wait to find out. He looked at his watch, 6:45. He should begin walking. As soon as he stepped outside, he felt a cool breeze caressing his cheek. He looked up. It looked like it's going to be a starry night. Hee. Nothing can stop this night. Naruto thought. Suddenly, he bumped into someone. But it felt soft, like pillows. Naruto didn't mind the feeling, until he heard a very, very familiar voice. You like that, don't you, punk? An annoyed woman's voice called down to him. He looked up, still covered in the softness. His eyes went wide. Tsunade Obasan. He screaming, taking a step back. Why did you do that? Tisk, Tsunade retorted. The nerve. You bumped into me, punk. Right. Well, gotta go. I have to go to the festival. Naruto said, and just as he was about to leave, Tsunade called him back. Ah, Naruto, about that. Naruto stopped and turned around. He asked, waiting for her answer. Ah, well, she began, but somehow, she couldn't finish it. I can't say it. She sighed as she put her hand on Naruto's head. It's nothing. Have fun on the festival, okay? She said while ruffling his hair. That's it? Naruto thought, but shrugged it off. Okay, he said, as he ran away, towards the festival. Tsunade sighed, seeing Naruto disappear in the darkness. Tsunade-sama. Shizune came running towards Tsunade with a panicked look on her face. The enemies are coming closer to Konoha. What are your orders? Tsunade turned around, a strict look on her face. Gather all the Chunin and Jonin who are not on a mission. Order them to keep the enemies away from Konoha, especially from the festival. Yes, Shizune said, as she ran back to call all the Chunin and Jonin. Tsunade looked one more time at where Naruto disappeared, before running after Shizune. Summer Festival. Naruto saw the entrance of the festival already, many people entering it. He wondered how he will be able to recognize Sakura. But he didn't have to think about that for long. He found her. She was standing there, looking around, seeming as if she was looking for someone. She looked beautiful in Naruto's eyes. She had a kimono on, a red one, that is. Her right sleeve was longer than her left one, both decorated with strings that held many beads. Her whole kimono was decorated with an white pattern, what looked like spots. Her hair was in a ponytail, and, according to Naruto, she had chopsticks sticking out her ponytail. They had white shoes on, that almost looked like boots, if it wasn't for the opening at the front, which showed her toes. Naruto stood there, for quite a while, until Sakura called out to him. Naruto, I'm here. She waved at him, showing him where she was. He shook his head, cleared his drool, and began to run over to her. When he reached her, he again began to exclaim her from head to toe. This made Sakura blush. Wow, he began, seemingly out of breath. You look beautiful, Sakura-chan. Really? I wasn't sure if I should wear it. But I'm glad you like it. She smiled, still blushing. Shall we go inside? Naruto offered. Sakura smiled at him. Yes, let's go. She said, as she quickly grabbed his hand and went inside. They played many games which made them child again, and not a responsible ninja. They could relax, as they enjoyed each other's company. Look, Shikamaru. That's Sakura, with Naruto. Someone exclaimed from the back. The other one sighed, so what, Ino? We're together here also, right? Yeah, but, maybe they are dating? Ino exclaimed with a gasp. How troublesome. Ino, they don't have to date in order to be here together. We aren't dating either, and yet we are here together, right? Shikamaru said, his eyes closed with a pained look. Shish, Shikamaru, I'm trying to listen. Ino said sharply, earning a sigh from Shikamaru. You want some cotton candy, Sakura-chan? Naruto asked, holding a cotton candy before her. I love cotton candy. Sakura said, as she leaned forward to take a bite. Mhhh. She said smiling, with her eyes closed. Naruto took a bite also, but some cotton remained on Naruto's nose. This made Sakura giggle. That made Naruto confused. What? He asked, as he saw her giggle. You have some cotton on your nose. Sakura explained, as she reached out with her index finger and wiped it off his nose. She giggled more before licking the cotton off her finger. Did you saw that? Shikamaru, did you? No, I didn't, Ino. Can we go now? Shikamaru said, bored. He earned a glare from Ino, but he ignored it. But maybe they will kiss. Although Naruto wouldn't mind that, I don't think Sakura will. Come on, Shikamaru said, as he grabbed Ino's hand, and led her far away from Naruto and Sakura. Could this be the guy Sakura was talking about? Ino thought, but laughed afterwards. Yeah, right, this is as much fun, Naruto. Sakura exclaimed, laughing. Yeah, and Naruto began to say, but was interrupted. Fireworks in about 10 minutes. Don't miss it, get ready for a great spectacle. We have to see that, Naruto. Sakura said. Yeah, a sudden idea came to Naruto's mind. Sakura-chan, come, you have to see something. Naruto said, as he grabbed her hand. But, the fireworks. Sakura said, but followed Naruto anyway. Don't worry, he said, smiling. We won't miss a thing. As soon as Naruto said that, he began to run, dragging Sakura with him. She noticed they went up, like running up a hill. Suddenly, Naruto stopped, and quickly went behind her. Naruto. Sakura-chan, we are almost there. But I want it to be a surprise, close your eyes for a moment, okay? Naruto said in a soft voice, holding his hands before her eyes. Sakura's heart began to beat faster. What is this feeling? Why does my heart beat faster, again? She thought, as they suddenly stopped. She felt Naruto removing his hands. Okay. You can open your eyes now, Sakura-chan. He said, still in a soft voice. Sakura opened her eyes. Her sight was blurry for a bit, but it recovered quickly. She gasped, "Oh, Naruto. This is beautiful. I can see the whole festival," Sakura said, as she saw the lights of the festival beneath her. She also saw the Hogake Mountain in the distance. She actually saw whole Konoha. "It's pretty cool, right?" Naruto said, grinning, as he stood beside her. "How did you know about this place? I've never noticed it before." "Oh, I came. Or I'm still coming here a lot." He looked behind him, seeing a swing hanging on an old tree. There where he always sat when he felt lonely. "Ah, the lights go off," Sakura said, as she saw the lights go off one by one. "The fireworks are going to begin," Naruto said. And as soon as he said that, a few colored beams went into the sky, and exploded with a loud bang to make more colors. Sakura thought this was the best thing she ever saw. Naruto thought the best thing he ever saw was standing right next to him. Sakura sighed, not saying a word. And without warning, she leaned on his shoulder, enjoying the show. "Thank God it's dark," Naruto thought as he blushed furiously. He felt happy, like no one could beat him. He had everything he wanted: friends, ramen and Sakura. While the two teens were enjoying the light show, someone was watching them from the dark. "Tisk, the idiot," the figure exclaimed. "Just wait, Naruto, this time, we will finish it." "Oh, who is it, lurking in the dark?" "I know, but yeah, spoilers, huh?" Everything was perfect. The mood was perfect, the fireworks were perfect, the girl standing next to him is perfect. Nothing could ruin this day for Naruto. Almost nothing. "Sir, everyone is in position. What are your orders?" a figure who just appeared out of nothing asked, kneeling down in front of the one who was lurking. Good, the figure said, as he still had his gaze on Naruto and Sakura. "Just wait until I give the signal, got it?" he said sharply, making the kneeled figure gulp. "Why yes, sir," the figure said as he disappeared again. The figure who was lurking put on a black mask. It covered his mouth, but his cold blood-red Sharingan eyes were clearly seen. "Naruto, thank you," Sakura said suddenly, her head still on his shoulder. "Why?" Naruto asked, his mind not totally clear. A blush was still seen on his face, and it was happy blush at that. "Well, for letting me feel that I'm worth something," Sakura said, her head from his shoulder, looking at him. He also turned to her. "What are you talking about, Sakura-chan? I always thought you were worth something. You're defiantly worth something." Naruto said, a bit confused about why she said that. Why doesn't she see herself the way he sees her? Sakura put her hands before her mouth, tears in her eyes. "You really mean that?" She whispered. "With all my heart." He also whispered. He noticed something. A single white flower standing there, in the ground, with no other flowers around it. He bent down to pick it up. "You know, Sakura-chan? I don't see why you look down on yourself." He stood up again. He reached out to her hair, and placed the white flower behind her ear, smiling. "Because I believe that's not who you are," he said softly. Tears were now rolling down her face. She sniffled and suddenly jumped towards Naruto. He caught her, but he wasn't standing steady. He fell down, with Sakura on top of him. But it seemed like she didn't notice anything. She kept hugging his chest with her eyes closed. "Thank you, Naruto. Thank you so much." Naruto smiled softly, as he put an arm around him. She suddenly stopped sniffing and hugging, and rose herself up. She blushed. "Ah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." She nervously laughed. "I guess I should get a view, huh?" "Why yeah." Naruto also bushed. No. She wanted to get up, but someone stopped her. She looked down at Naruto, seeing that he held her arm to prevent her from leaving. "Naruto." She barely got out. But Naruto just kept staring at her, almost with a pleading face. "What's wrong with him?" she thought. "Why is he staring at me like that? And why am I staring at him like that?" His eyes, they seemed hypnotizing. She didn't realize that they were coming closer to each other. "Men, let us begin." Both of them didn't stop. They closed their eyes, knowing they both wanted this. Sakura bent down, Naruto reached up. They both parted their lips a bit, their noses touching. They reached in for the kiss. An intention to kill? Sakura thought just as 3 kunais were coming out of nowhere. Sakura had to think fast, they were aimed at Naruto. She quickly grabbed his jacket, turned herself with her back facing the kunais. Just as she did, the kunais hit her back. Sakura said, as she pits out some blood. It went all too fast for Naruto. But he now knew that Sakura was hurt. Sakura-chan. Naruto, we are being attacked. She quickly said, as she sat straight, trying to get the kunais out of her back. Naruto ran behind her. Who is attacking us? He asked his shock, as he carefully pulled out the kunais. Sakura-chan, don't ever do that again. He said, a stern look on his face. What? They were aimed at you, Naruto. What else was I supposed to do? Sakura said angrily. Part of her anger was because of the pain she gained when the kunais were pulled out. Naruto sighed, knowing he would have done the same. He pulled the last kunai out, but Sakura was still bleeding. Naruto, I'm okay. Can I have 1 kunai, please? Sakura asked as she grabbed one of the kunais. She threw them at the exact same place where they came from. 3 figures suddenly jumped from the darkness. It seems that your girlfriend saved you, Naruto. One voice said. It seems that you uses her as a shield, Naruto. The other one said. They both wore masks before their mouths. They were both in totally black clothing with long sleeves and long pants. Naruto growled and stepped before Sakura. Who are you? He yelled. The 2 figures laughed. The third one remained silent. Show yourselves. Naruto yelled again. The third one finally spoke. Let me go first. I want this to be a touching reunion. Both Naruto and Sakura's eyes went wide when they heard the voice. It hasn't changed one bit. It can't be. Not like this. Please, not like this. Sakura thought as the figure slowly walked into the moonlight. Naruto growled at what he saw. Sasuke. So, you still remember me? Sasuke said, as his eyes began to glow. He removed his mask, which revealed a nasty smirk. He had the same black clothes as the other 2. The only difference he had was that he had a belt around his waist which held a weapon holder. What are you doing? You could have really hurt Sakura-chan. Naruto said, as he clenched his fist. Sakura? Sasuke said, mocking. He looked at Sakura, who seemed to be frozen. It was actually meant for you, Naruto. You. Naruto said, already wanting to attack him. Sasuke-kun. A weak voice came from behind Naruto. Sasuke didn't even glance at her. But Sakura continued. Why are you doing this? Why did you attack Naruto? Because I want to finish it. He simply answered. That's right. Naruto and Sasuke fought almost to the death when Sasuke wanted to betray the village to go to Orochimaru. Sasuke won, and went to Orochimaru to get stronger. I was weak back then, but now. I'm stronger. Much stronger. Sasuke said, as he now used the full power of the Sharingan. You want to test it? He asked Naruto. No, stop. Do not fight. Sakura pleaded, but she had to jump away because of 2 kunais that were thrown at her. She looked up, seeing that those 2 men were attacking her. Sakura-chan. Naruto yelled, and wanted to go with her, but was stopped by Sasuke, who was suddenly in front of him. Your business is with me, Naruto. Sasuke said, as he laid a punch on him. Naruto quickly reacted, and stopped Sasuke's punch with his hand. If you want it that way. Naruto said as he also punched Sasuke, but missed because he dodged. Shit, I can't move well in these clothes. Sakura cursed under her breath. As the 2 men came closer. Well, here goes nothing. She thought as she ran towards them, her fist in the air. Shanuru. She yelled as she punched one. She thought it was an hit, until the person disappeared, and a wooden log was seen. A replacement? Sakura said, but was unable to look behind her on time. She was kicked in her side, which made her lose her ground as she practically flew towards a tree. It was a full hit. Sakura cried with pain as she hit the tree, and fell down. Blood was seen at the side of her mouth, but she quickly wiped it away. I'm not strong enough to beat these guys. She thought as she looked how Naruto was doing. It was an even battle with Naruto and Sasuke. When one hits, the other one dodges, and vice versa. Looks like you didn't improve your taijutsu, Naruto. Sasuke said. Hey, neither have you. Naruto said, as he jumped away from him. He saw Sakura standing there, weakly, looking as she was beating hard. Her hair was now loose from the hit, and was hanging before her face. Sakura-chan, Naruto thought. This is not good, we have to get out of here. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto cried, as one doppelganger appeared beside him. The real Naruto held out his hand, while the other one began making circles on it with his own hands. A blue ball formed in the real Naruto's hand, rotating fast. When the ball was ready, the doppelganger disappeared. Naruto ran towards Sasuke with high speed. Rasengan. Naruto yelled as he held his arm back. Too slow, Naruto. Sasuke yelled, as he also made his attack, Chidori. They both attacked at the same time, their attacks colliding. It was just like their fight all over again. Only this time, it was with their own strength. A bright light was made, which made Sakura and the other two look up. Sakura saw the fight at the hospital playing all over again. They have to stop, I can't look at this any longer. Sakura said, as she weakly walked over to Naruto and Sasuke, not being noticed by the other two guys. Their attack was over, but they lost a lot of chakra. They were panting heavily, but ready to fire another attack. Just as Naruto wanted to attack again, something stopped him from behind. Stop, a weak voice whispered in his back, but he could hear it clearly. Sakura-chan. Naruto didn't notice Sasuke anymore. That was a wrong move. I don't want you two fighting. She whispered again. She suddenly saw Sasuke drawing a sword. Her eyes went wide while she let out a gasp. What happened next almost seemed happening in slow motion. Sakura let go of Naruto, while Sasuke began to charge at them. Naruto didn't notice Sasuke was attacking them until Sakura pushed him on the ground, standing before him. She took the hit. The sword pierced through her belly, as she spit out more blood. Her beautiful red kimono was now even more red, all coming from her. Sasuke smirked. Wrong move, Sakura. He said, as he withdrew his sword. Naruto couldn't move. Even when she fell down, he only blinked. Sakura-chan. He whispered, finally finding the strength to crawl over to her. He looked at her face, seeing that she was still breathing. But she took the hit. Why? Why did she? Why didn't I? Naruto was talking nonsense, not coming out of his words. Are you angry now, Naruto? Sasuke asked, do you want to kill me? But Naruto stayed quiet. Only his shoulders were shaking, making Sasuke think he was crying. But that wasn't the case. Red chakra formed around Naruto's body. There it is again, Sasuke thought as Naruto stood up. He quickly turned around, his normally blue eyes now blazing red, fangs clearly seen. He didn't look like himself anymore. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Naruto screamed while turning his head to Sasuke, still holding Sakura in his arms. She was unconscious but alive. But this didn't soothe Naruto's anger. This is it, Sasuke thought, as he grinned, not faced by Naruto's enormous chakra. Naruto stood up, slowly, not taking his eyes off of Sasuke. Sasuke noticed something strange though. He had 4 tails of red chakra instead of one like the last time. You'll pay. Naruto growled, bending down, so that his hands were on the ground, taking the position of a fox, his 4 tails up high. Sasuke quickly jumped back, making distance between them. Sir, do you need our help? One of Sasuke's henchmen said, though they were both frightened by what they saw. No, I'll do this alone. Sasuke said, determined. Tisk, the first on thought, egoistic brat. But sir, at least, you'll have to use the second stage too, the second said, but was cut off. No, I'll do this alone, Sasuke said again, as he gave a look at his henchman, flee if you want. I have no use for cowards. Both of the men growled, but stayed anyway. They needed to see who was stronger, for later report. Naruto gave a hard growl, and with great speed, he charged at Sasuke. Sasuke grinned and jumped up. Naruto was faster, though, just as Sasuke was in the air, Naruto grabbed his legs. He gave him a spin, before letting him go. Sasuke regained his balance, as he landed on his feet. He's fast, Sasuke thought, and he was almost hit by Naruto's fist. Sasuke jumped back again, analyzing him. Those 4 tails. Does that tell something about his strength? Sasuke thought. Naruto bent down again, ready to attack. Sharingan, Sasuke said, just as Naruto sprinted at him. Naruto jumped up, only to charge down as fast as he could. Sasuke didn't have enough time to dodge the attack, so he held his hands above him. He actually caught Naruto, his hands holding Naruto's. Naruto's face came closer to Sasuke's, but their arms were trembling. It seemed that Naruto was much stronger than Sasuke. With his fangs as sharp as ever, and his eyes redder than blood, he looked Sasuke straight in the eyes. "You'll pay, you'll pay, you'll pay," he screamed as he let go of one hand, and punched Sasuke hard in the face, letting him practically fly backwards. "Sir!" his henchman screamed, as Sasuke hit the ground. Sasuke cursed, while holding his face. "I should have seen that one coming with Sharingan. Why didn't I?" Naruto growled harder this time, his face upwards to the sky. The rocks around him began to tremble. The pupils in his eyes disappeared, showing only blood-red eyes. His nails growing larger, his position changed. His back was straight up, as in cat who was ready to attack. "This isn't Naruto anymore, that's the nine-tailed fox," Sasuke thought, as he stood up gritting his teeth. Sakura moaned, slowly waking up. When she tried to move, she felt a sharp pain in her stomach. She held up her hand, seeing blood on it, her blood. Sasuke. Naruto. Attack. Sword. Protect. Darkness. She remembered. She tried to protect Naruto when Sasuke attacked. Did she? Failed again. She slowly held her head up, looking towards the direction of the noise. Her vision was blurry, not knowing if it was blurry because of her blood loss or her crying. It was probably both. "Naruto. Sasuke," she whispered, wanting to see both their faces. But what she saw wasn't what she hoped for. She saw Naruto, screaming into the sky, red chakras surrounding his body. The ground around him was trembling, making holes in it. She didn't saw his face, his back was towards her. In front of Naruto she saw Sasuke, looking as if he was punched in the face, hard. He had an unusual expression on his face. Was he scared? What happened to Naruto? She had to stop him, she didn't want this. Naruto didn't attack, he just kept screaming. This gave Sasuke the chance. "I'll end this," Sasuke said, as he prepared his Chidori, running towards Naruto. Naruto didn't do anything, it seemed like he didn't notice him. "Chidori!" Sasuke yelled as he jumped up, holding his arm backwards, so that he would gain more speed when he hit Naruto. "Naruto," Sakura thought, as she saw Sasuke attack. But Sasuke's attack never hit. Naruto stopped him with one arm, not even looking at him. "What?" Sasuke said out loud, his Chidori disappearing. Naruto began gripping Sasuke's hand harder and harder, almost breaking it. Sasuke pushed Naruto away with a punch in his stomach. Naruto let go, but remained his posture. He growled again, the ground around him trembling. "I have to stop this," Sakura said, as she slowly stood up, holding her stomach. "I have to endure the pain for now." Sakura slowly walked up to Naruto. It seemed like he didn't notice her. "Naruto," she whispered. She felt his chakra, it was so strong. She had to reach him, or they will kill each other. Her hand reached out to him, grabbing his jacket. He quickly turned around, his red eyes looking fiercely at her. This shocked Sakura. She had never seen him this way. Ever. Tears rolled down her face. This wasn't the smiling, bubbly, energetic idiot she knew. This just wasn't him. "Naruto," she said, trying to show strength in her voice. She looked down, and slowly moved forward, resting her head on his back, her strength fading again. She closed her eyes, feeling somewhat secure. This was not the same for Naruto. He saw her as a stranger, who also wanted to hurt him. He could not let them hurt him. He gave her a quick elbow, but it was with all his strength. His Kyuubi strength. Sakura screamed, as she hit the very same tree again. She felt blood coming from her stomach again. She didn't want to lose consciousness, but her lack of blood was winning. Her expression was blank, as she looked at Naruto's face. "It seems like I'm still weak," Sakura said, as she lost consciousness again. Sasuke watched the whole thing, and even he was disgusted. Suddenly, his two henchmen came beside him. "Sir, are you alright? Sir, we have to get out of here. Our only quest was to claim data." Sasuke didn't say anything. He placed a hand on his cheek, it was swollen. Naruto growled again, his clothes beginning to tear up, his chakra creating craters around him. He had lost control. Sasuke wasn't happy, but this wasn't a good moment to fight. Although he doesn't want to admit it, Naruto could kill him in this state. Sasuke gritted his teeth, growling. Retreat for now," Sasuke said, as he disappeared together with his two henchmen, leaving an unconscious Sakura and an out-of-control Naruto alone. "Hokage-sama, they are here, and it seems like we are too late." Shizune yelled as she arrived at the scene. Right after that, Tsunade, Jiraiya and Kakashi arrived. They all looked in horror at the scene. Tsunade took action. Shizune, go look if Sakura is okay. Jiraiya and Kakashi, you two take care of Naruto. But be careful. I'll also join Shizune. Yes, they all said as they went to Sakura and Naruto. Shizune arrived at Sakura's side, first checking her pulse. She sighed in relief. She's badly wounded, but she's still alive. Tsunade kneeled down beside Sakura, pushing some bangs back. You'll be able to heal her? Shizune nodded, yes, but she still needs to go to the hospital. Tsunade looked down. Please do, I'll go check up on Naruto. Tsunade said, as she quickly went to the place where Kakashi and Jiraiya was. What an amazing power, Jiraiya said, as he watched Naruto. So this is the Kyubis? Yes, Kakashi answered. He also didn't like what he saw. But what was worse, he couldn't do anything for his pupil. He should be out of chakras soon. Jiraiya said. And he was right. Not soon after her said that, his four tails began to disappear. Naruto fell down on his knees, holding himself up with his hands. His blue eyes reappearing again, his fangs going back to normal. The ground stopped shaking. His red chakra disappeared also, and Naruto fell completely down because of exhausting. Jiraiya, Kakashi and Tsunade quickly rushed over to him. Tsunade quickly began to heal him. Is he okay? Kakashi asked, looking at his torn clothes. His body looked like it was burnt. Yes, to say the least, he doesn't have a scratch. But it's best to bring him to the hospital after I healed him. Tsunade said, as the burnt marks slowly disappeared. After Tsunade was done, Jiraiya picked him up, only to see tears streaming down his face. What happened to him? Jiraiya thought, as Shizune came walking up to them with Sakura in her arms. Is she okay? Kakashi asked, as he took her over from Shizune. Yes, answered Shizune, but she still needs to go to the hospital. Some cuts are deep and may be infected. He nodded, as the four of them began to sprint to the hospital, wondering what happened here. Wondering if they could be innocent again like they used to be. To just turn back time for one day. Phew, glad I got this one done. And no, I'm not going to kill Sasuke. I leave that, yet again, to Kishimoto. Besides, I don't really hate him. I love mocking him, though. But I love mocking the Akatsuki's 2x3. She should be waking up soon. Voices, from who? It sounds like there are more. Any serious injuries? A male's voice, sounding like Jiraiya's. No, a woman's voice. But the hospital wants to keep her here for just one night, in case infections come up from her cuts. That has to be Tsunade. What about Naruto? Naruto. Was he hurt? There was a sigh. Nobody has found him yet since he disappeared this morning. We have no idea where he is. Naruto's missing? Where is he? Why aren't they looking more? I shouldn't have told him what happened. Not immediately. Kakashi said. What happened? Sasuke, the fight, Naruto, Kyuubi, hurt, blackness, Naruto, Naruto, Naruto. Naruto. She's waking up. Tsunade was immediately by her side as Sakura began to wake up. Sakura, how are you feeling? Kakashi asked. Sakura ignored the question, though. Where's Naruto? She asked, her eyes adjusting to the light, her voice back to normal. She slowly began to sit up, looking at the three. Nobody spoke, they didn't look her in the eye. Sakura began to lose her temper. I asked, where is Naruto? She asked in a stern voice. There was no answer yet again. Sakura had enough of the silence. She pushed the sheets off of her and quickly stood up. Fine, I'll go look for him myself. Just as she wanted the walk, she began to moan, falling down on her knees. She clutches her stomach, as if it was ripping apart. Sakura, Tsunade said, as she kneeled down beside her. Your wounds are not yet healed, please, rest. She helped Sakura up and put her back in her bed. Where is Naruto? She asked again, and planning to ask them until they answered. Gone, Jiraiya bluntly said. Sakura looked up to him, looking surprised. What do you mean, gone? It's just as I said, he's gone. We don't know where he is, nobody can find him. Sakura's eyes went wide, and looked at Kakashi and Tsunade. Is this true? But her question was answered when nobody answered. Why? Right after we brought you two here, Naruto didn't look too good. Tsunade began to explain. We were able to heal him, but we were almost too late. When he regained consciousness, Kakashi explained the whole story. And, When Kakashi told him that he hurt you in his Kyuubi rage, he ran away. When I came to look how he was doing, he was gone. He blames himself that he had hurt me, right? Sakura asked, tears forming in her eyes. Tsunade nodded, probably so. That idiot, Sakura whispered while the first tears fell. I would never blame him, ever. I can't believe he thinks that way. Sakura, Tsunade began, as she saw Sakura's head bowing down more, her hands gripping the sheets tighter. Her shoulders began to shake. I want to see him. I want to talk to him, telling him that it's not his fault. Why did he run away? He never ran away from anything. I want to see him. More tears began to fall. Running from love is something different than running from a mission. Jiraiya thought. Naruto didn't have much knowledge about love, he knew that much. Jiraiya tried to teach him, but he was more interested in new jutsus. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Sakura quickly looked up, hoping it was Naruto. But that quickly faded away when a nurse came through the door. I'm sorry, but visitors' hours are over. I have to ask you to leave, the nurse said with a kind smile. Just as the three were about to step outside, Sakura whispered something, please find him. With everything we've got, Sakura, Tsunade said softly, as they left the room. Naruto, Sakura whispered again. She had to see him, she felt so miserable. He was always there for her, never leaving her side. Now she wanted to be there for him, she wanted to search for him. Damn it, she cursed, she was useless yet again. She looked outside, it was raining. That did not lighten her mood. Naruto, where are you? Please, come back. She held her knees close to herself, I don't want to be alone. And just like it came out of nothing, she began to sing a song she never heard of. Kiss me sweet, I'm sleeping in silence, all alone, in ice and in snow. In my dreams, I'm calling your name. You are my love. But where was Naruto? Naruto found himself standing in front of the big gate of Konoha. The rain messed up his hair, his breathing was heavy. He ran trough the rain to this point. He didn't know where he was going, he just let his legs run. I hurt Sakura. I'm really what they say I am, a monster. He thought. He gripped the fabric of his wet jacket tightly, closing his eyes. I shouldn't even be here anymore. Sakura, she must hate me by now. Damn it, Naruto screamed as he fell down on his knees, and began punching the ground. If I can't even control this thing inside me, then I can't be called a worthy ninja. He suddenly began to laugh, still sitting on his knees while the rain came down faster. I am such a coward, what must they all think of me? Becoming Hokage doesn't matter anymore to me if I hurt the ones I love. He looked down, seeing the ground turn to mud. He slowly stood up, removed the mud on his pants. He took off his headband, and let it fall on the ground. He didn't look back, as suddenly strong wind went by. It seemed like it was saying something. You are my love, Sakura-chan? Naruto said, eyes wide. He was sure of it, it was Sakura's voice. But was it really her? Where did it come from? Naruto turned around, looking into an empty village. He had a bad feeling, somehow, when he heard her voice. Sakura had enough, she didn't want to sit and wait here. She wanted to look for Naruto. She wanted to see him, having him hold her like he did that night when she waited for Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, what happened to him? He's gone again, is he? She whispered to herself. But Sasuke wasn't her top priority right now. It was Naruto this time. Sakura pushed the sheets off of her, and slowly stood up. She received some pinches, but that didn't let her stop her. She grabbed some clean clothes that were laying on a chair close to her. She put on her shoes, and quickly went out the door, actually forgetting her headband. Just as she was out the hospital, a nurse came to her room. Miss Haruno? A little checkup before it's bedtime. She looked around. Miss Haruno? She looked around. Her clothes were gone, her bed was empty. The nurse picked up the headband she forgot. I've got to warn the Hokage, she said as she ran out the room, leaving it empty and dark. Sakura wanted to run harder, but the pain in her stomach was winning. She held her stomach, but that didn't let the pain subside. The rain and wind weren't helping either. She began to gasp for air. She suddenly stopped and buckled forward, actually expecting to throw up. But nothing came. I don't have time for this, I have to find Naruto. She began to run again, but where was she running to? She didn't know where Naruto was. They said they looked everywhere, in whole Konoha. Why would she be the one who knew where he was? Suddenly, her sight became blurry. She thought it was because she was tired, but it wasn't like that. She still ran, as she slowly lifted up her hand, blood. The wound on his stomach reopened again, and was bleeding. Sakura's face became pale, only looking at her hand, and not paying attention to the road. She felt something strange, she didn't felt the ground under her feet anymore. She looked forward, only seeing that her sight went up, and her body went down. Sakura hit the ground, letting out a yelp. She moaned, still holding her stomach. Tears forming in her eyes again. I don't want it to end like this. I have to find Naruto, she said, moaning. She wanted to get up, but her legs didn't listen to her. Her sight was still blurry, becoming even more blurred with the second. She looked beside her, and she saw a tiny red stream being carried away with the water from the rain. She knew it was her blood. Naruto, I am so sorry. Sakura whispered, as she began to feel cold, her body starting to feel numb. She let out a little laugh. How is it that it is always me who gets into trouble? She coughed, her vision becoming dark. If only I could see you again. She closed her eyes, letting out a sigh, letting herself know that it was okay. Everything went black, but before she was completely away, she heard someone calling her from a distance. Sakura-chan, warm. The place where Sakura was, it was so warm. Sakura Haruno. A voice? A woman's voice. It sounded so kind. Who was it? Where am I? Sakura heard herself say. Open your eyes, Sakura. The woman's voice said. Sakura did as she was told. She was for a minute blinded by the light that surrounded her. But that was the only thing that surrounded her. She looked around her, everything was white. She saw no end, she saw no beginning. She turned around, feeling that someone was standing behind her. And there was. It was a woman, around her 30s, red hair that was about the same length as Sakura. She had a baby pink with baby blue robe on. An angel? Sakura whispered. The woman smiled, and walked over to Sakura. Sakura was amazed of how pretty she looked. She looked somewhat familiar though. I guess you can say that I'm an angel, Sakura. She said in a soft voice, still smiling. How do you know my name? Sakura asked. I've been watching you, or rather, I've been watching the one you've been with all this time. You've been watching someone? Who? The woman shook her head. I'm sorry, I cannot say that. But it is someone who's very dear to me. And very dear to you. Sakura was confused now. All her friends were dear to her, but who was dear to this angel? Where am I? Sakura suddenly asked, knowing that she wasn't in Konoha. You're actually nowhere, Sakura. This confused Sakura even more. Nowhere? She remembered what happened, like a flash. Am I dead? She asked, rather panicky. The woman shook her head. No, you are not dead, Sakura. You were saved, but just in the nick of time. Then why am I here? You are still unconscious. This is where your spirit took you. We had to meet each other. We had to meet? What does that mean? The woman was still smiling. Who knows? I know I wanted to meet you. We actually look a lot like each other. On the inside and outside. The woman pushed some bangs away from Sakura's face. Her hand was warm. Her hand was soft. She was defiantly an angel. We look like each other? How? We both did not notice that the love of our lives were standing right next to us. Was she talking about Naruto? Sasuke? No, not Sasuke. I don't If you don't understand, then make use of your remaining live to think about what means for a person to love. Suddenly, the woman started to disappear. Sakura took notice of this. Wait, what is your name? Are we gonna see each other again? The woman closed her eyes and smiled, while she slowly became invisible. Sakura, I will always be with you as long as you continue to be with the person I guard. But I have no doubt in my mind that you will always be with this person. This actually calmed Sakura, and she smiled. I hope I'll see you again. Sakura-chan, wake up. Sakura looked up, as if the voice came from above her. She smiled as she recognized his voice. Naruto, it seems you have found your way back. The woman said. She was almost completely gone. Sakura turned her head back at the woman. Wait, you name. The body of the woman was already gone. She only said one thing. My name is Kushina Uzumaki. Sakura's eyes went wide. What? Before she could do anything else, the light became brighter and she had to close her eyes. Sakura-chan. Sakura opened her eyes again, and noticed she wasn't in the white room anymore. She was in someone else's room, lying on a soft bed. She slowly sat up, also seeing that she wasn't in the hospital. What about her wound? She lifted up her shirt, seeing that her wound was covered with bandages. Who did that? She suddenly felt something on her hand. Something warm and soft. She looked besides her, it was Naruto. He was holding her hand, while his head was on the side of the bed. He was fast asleep. It must have taken her a while to wake up. Sakura smiled at the sight, he looks so cute, she thought, as she pushed away some bangs from his eyes. She looked around again, now knowing she was in Naruto's house. How did I get here? What exactly happened? She remembered the red-haired woman, the guardian angel. Her last name was Uzumaki. She looked down at Naruto again. Could it be? Is she Naruto's mom? Sakura softly touched Naruto's face. She's his guardian angel, she whispered. At that moment, Naruto stirred. He opened his eyes and looked up. His blue eyes looked at Sakura's emerald eyes, none of them speaking. Suddenly, Naruto's face brightened. A smile shone on his face. Sakura-chan. Why, you're awake. How do you feel? Are you hurt anywhere? But Sakura didn't say anything. She was staring at him with a blank face. This made Naruto not smile anymore. This made him more concerned. Sakura-chan? What's wrong? Does your wound hurt? But before Naruto had the chance to say anything else, Sakura almost lunged at him, embracing him tightly. Sakura-chan. Naruto blushed, but he was glad Sakura couldn't see it. He hugged her back, glad to be able to hold her like this. You idiot, she whispered, burying her head in his shoulder. I'm so glad you are okay. She pushed herself up, looking him in the eyes. She looked down, suddenly finding the sheets interesting. How could you think? She still whispered, how could you think I would blame you for what happened? She closed her eyes, gritting her teeth. Naruto also looked down, remembering what happened. Because it is true. Sakura quickly looked up, her hand reaching his face. Naruto thought she was going to hit him, so he quickly closed his eyes. But no hit came. Instead, he felt two warm hands on both his cheeks. Naruto, look at me. Sakura said, as Naruto did what he was told. What he saw was something he didn't expect it. Sakura was on the verge of tears. It's not your fault, I never thought it was your fault. And I can't believe that you thought. Naruto shook his head, but Sakura's hands never left his face. It was me who hurt you, Sakura. It was me who. Naruto stopped, closing his eyes. No, Naruto. It was Sasuke. At this, Naruto's eyes opened again, looking shocked at Sakura. She continued, Sasuke hurt us both. He knew it pained her to say that, he could feel it. You weren't yourself, I never thought it was your fault. And even if it was, I would have forgiven you. Naruto. Sakura didn't finish. It was as if she was insecure about what she wants to say. She removed her hands from his face, and scooted closer to him. She held her head against her chest. She inhaled his scent deeply, glad that he was here with her. Just hold me, she whispered. Naruto gave a little smile, before putting his arms around her. He held her close, and put his head on top of her own. I'll always protect you, Sakura-chan, he said softly, but there was no response. Sakura had fallen asleep. Naruto didn't mind, just as long as she was with him, he couldn't care less. And where is he now? We don't know yet, Tsunade-sama. It's most likely that he's back to Orochimaru's hideout. So, we are back to the beginning again, huh? It looks that way, yes. Tsunade sighed. Why was finding Sasuke so damn hard? And they were so close too. Tsunade decided to change the subject. Have you found Naruto or Sakura yet? Shizune shook her head. Almost all the ninjas in the village are looking for them, but still no sight of them both. We are afraid that they both left the village. Tsunade sighed again, and turned herself to look out the window. Sakura. I thought she was smart enough to know that he couldn't chase him in her condition. And for her to run away from the village. Tsunade actually gave a smile at the end of her sentence. Only that. To find that little punk. Shizune gave a smile as well. Love is something amazing, isn't it, Tsunade-sama? Yes, it is. Tsunade turned herself back to Shizune. Continue searching for those two. She ordered. Yes, Shizune said, as she quickly ran out the door. Tsunade closed her eyes, as she rested her head on her hands. Sakura, Naruto. Where are you? In another room in Konoha, it was warm, comfortable. Wherever Sakura was, she didn't want to leave the place. She slowly opened her eyes, as she awoke from her sleep. She noticed she was in someone's room. That's right, she thought. I'm in Naruto's house. I'm in Naruto's bed. Naruto's lying next to me. Wait, Naruto's lying next to me? This actually gave her almost a heart attack. But her panic subsided when she saw Naruto cuddling with his sheets right next to her. He was sleeping soundly, with his mouth opened a little. Sakura-chan, he muttered in his sleep. Sakura's face softened when she heard him muttering in his sleep. She yawned, noticing she was still a little tired. She lay herself down, facing Naruto, who was still sleeping comfortably. She smiled, and closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. She loved his scent, and even when he was sleeping, she could still smell it clearly. It relaxed her so much that she fell asleep immediately. But at that moment, Naruto woke up, seeing the face of his angel. Sakura-chan, he whispered softly. He wanted to touch her, but he was afraid that she would wake up. He suddenly heard a familiar sound. Breakfast time, he said to himself. He carefully went out bed, trying not to wake up Sakura. When he got out, he pulled the sheets over Sakura. She gave a little sigh when he did so, and started cuddling with her pillow. While Naruto was starting to make his breakfast, instant ramen, he thought about what happened. He couldn't remember much from that night, but he could remember Sasuke. And he believed that the only thing was he needed to know. Sasuke. It was because of him that he hurt Sakura, but he still partly blames himself for hurting Sakura. He pushed that matter away from his mind for now, and started to question the hows and whys. Why did Sasuke came back? What did he want? If he wanted to kill me, he could have easily attacked me when I wasn't looking. Damn it, Sasuke. He slammed his fist on his kitchen table. He quickly turned his head to his room, wondering if he woke up Sakura. He sighed, she was still asleep. He had to find Sasuke, wherever he was. He had a feeling they were close to finding him. But just as they found him, he was gone again. Like he was running away from them. He poured the hot water he prepared in his bowl. He said he wanted to finish things, yet he ran away when he didn't finish her thoughts. He grabbed to bread and some milk. He didn't had much to offer Sakura, he had to admit. But how could he know it would turn out like this? He suddenly heard footsteps behind him, and when he turned around, he saw Sakura standing there while rubbing her right eye. Sakura-chan, good morning, did I woke you up? Naruto said, as he almost blushed when he saw Sakura standing there, looking terribly cute. Sakura shook her head. No, I was already awake, but then I fell asleep again and I woke up again. She said, not exactly knowing what she was saying. How are you feeling? Naruto asked as he pointed to her stomach. Sakura looked down, knowing what he meant. Oh, I'm okay. I'm feeling a lot better. She smiled at him, while he smiled back. Oh, I made you some breakfast, Sakura-chan, he said, as he showed her the bread and milk. He rubbed the back of his head as he saw her breakfast. Well, I'm not exactly sure if you could call it breakfast. Sorry Sakura-chan, I don't have much. Sakura giggled as she walked over to him. She picked up the bread and milk as she smiled at him. Thank you Naruto, that's really sweet of you, she said as she sat on the most nearby chair. She felt a sting in her stomach, but it subsided soon. She rubbed her stomach, making Naruto worry. Sakura-chan, maybe we should go to the hospital, it looks like you're still hurt. Naruto said in a concerned voice. Ah, well, I kinda ran away from the hospital when I wasn't yet healed. Sakura said, as she began to play with her bread. They probably see us now as missing Nin, on account that you're not back, either. Huh? Naruto almost screamed. Oh, yeah, we haven't reported back yet. He gave an evil smile. Tsunade-ban must be scared out of her wits. Naruto, that's not funny. Sakura said as she stood up, not finishing her bread. We must get dressed and go over to O. As soon as Sakura wanted to walk, she felt a great pain in her stomach. She fell down on her knees as she held her stomach with both her arms. Sakura-chan, Naruto quickly rushed over to her. Are you okay? This pain, it doesn't go away, and it's not because of the wound. Sakura gasped. Sakura-chan, Naruto said, as he was almost certain to where this was going. It's because of Sasuke. Naruto noticed something. She wasn't calling him Sasuke-kun, like she always does. She also called him Sasuke last night. Does that mean I could actually feel his pain through the blade? She stood up, with the help of Naruto. Naruto, we have to find him. I agree, but we have to finish this, she harshly said, and Naruto knew she meant it. Do you mean? She closed her eyes. If he wants to fight us, we will fight back. With everything we've got. Naruto couldn't believe what he heard. Was she completely over Sasuke? Does she want to kill him? Naruto, I want Sasuke back, more than everything. It's like she read his mind. But if he doesn't want to himself, and starts to fight, I, at least, will fight back. She looked at Naruto, while he was looking shocked at her. He has hurt us all, she stated, not once her voice cracking. What are you going to do? Naruto stayed quiet for a while. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. I want to bring him back as well, but if he doesn't want to, I will fight as well. Sakura grabbed his hands, keeping them warm. This is the most difficult decision they have ever made. Naruto, we'll always be a team. We will go through this together, and hopefully, bring back the one we'll never forget. Naruto nodded at this. Yeah, always, Sakura-chan. They stayed quiet for a while, only looking each other in the eyes, knowing that they both were serious. You little punk, open your door, I know you are in there. An angry voice said as the person began to slam on Naruto's door. Hokage-sama? Sakura said, recognizing the voice. Sakura, are you in there? Open this door, Tsunade said as more slamming came. Don't you dare messing with my door, Tsunade-ban. Naruto said, as he could feel Tsunade's anger. If you open this damn door, I won't have to. Yes, yes, Naruto said, as he walked over to his door, rubbing his head. As soon as he opened the door, he received a punch on his head. OWWWW. Tsunade Obachan. Naruto whined as he began to rub his head. Thank God she didn't use her full strength. He thought as tears began to form in his eyes because of the pain. He looked at Tsunade and saw that she was totally worn out. She gasped for air as her sweat began to fall down from her face. Sakura walked towards the two, surprised at what she saw. Hokage-sama? Tsunade quickly looked at Sakura with a shocked look on her face. Sakura, so you are okay? Sakura began to walk forward so that she stood next to Naruto, who was still rubbing his head. Sakura quickly bowed down to Tsunade and stayed that way. I'm so sorry, Hokage-sama. I shouldn't have left the hospital. But I really wanted to see Naruto, so. Naruto looked at Sakura. She actually risked her own life just to see him. Sakura, Naruto, Tsunade said in a stern voice, making both of them jump. Sakura regained her standing position, and Naruto broke his gaze from Sakura. They now both looked at Tsunade, not actually wanted to think about what was going to happen to them. She looked so mad. They both gulped, as Tsunade began to walk towards them. Do you realize what you have done? She asked angrily. Sakura and Naruto tightly closed their eyes, as they prepared for the hit. That never came. They both felt a warm arm wrapping around them. Tsunade was hugging the both of them. This most defiantly surprised them, not to mention it shocked them. They didn't say anything, as they both felt her warmth, her love and protection. You two are such idiots, she whispered to them. How come you would think you could run from your problems? Did it ever occur to you that you could come to me? This made them feel guilty. They never thought about coming to Tsunade for their problems. They felt that Tsunade was hugging them tighter. I'm so glad you kids are okay. I wouldn't know what to do if something happened to you. And without him noticing, Naruto moved his hand to the necklace that Tsunade gave him. Tsunade-sama, don't run so quick, I can't keep, Shizune yelled, as she reached panting and sweating the front door. She became immediately quiet when she saw the three hugging each other in silence, with their eyes closed. Shizune smiled as they saw the sight, and kept quiet as she didn't want to ruin this once-in-a-lifetime moment. She just hoped that moments like this can come more often. Give your report. Sir, we indeed found Naruto Uzumaki. But it seemed he was too strong to defeat. Even for Sasuke-kun? Well, it seemed that Sasuke was weaker at that moment. Orochimaru closed his eyes and grinned. Seems like our Sasuke-kun isn't fully learned as he thought he would be. He opened his eyes again and looked straight at one of the men who were with Sasuke that evening. What caused Naruto-kun's Kyuubi form? Ah, sir, it apparently was caused because Sasuke hurt his friend who was with him that evening. This caught Orochimaru's attention. So you're saying Naruto-kun went crazy because one of his friends got hurt? He asked the men in an evil-like tone. This made the men gulp. Why yes, sir. It was a girl. She had pink hair. One said. Orochimaru knew who she was. Of course, so obvious. He thought as he stood up, walking towards the door. He looked at the two men. You are dismissed. Yes, sir. The two men said, quickly making their exit, glad that they were still alive. Well, Naruto-kun, it seems that I found your greatest weakness, Orochimaru said to himself as he walked through one of the long halls of his lair. Let us test her skills, he said as he disappeared into the darkness. It was fall in Konoha, as the leaves fell down on the ground, and the air became colder. But that was not the reason for not going to Ichiraku's for some ramen. Say, Naruto, do you believe in guardian angels? Huh? What are you talking about, Sakura-chan? Naruto asked Sakura while finishing his ramen. Naruto had invited Sakura to Ichiraku's for some ramen. Sakura continued, well, you know, someone who looks over you, from heaven. Someone who protects you from danger. Naruto had put his bowl down and looked at Sakura. It looked like he was thinking of his answer. No, not really. Naruto finally replied, somehow disappointing Sakura. Oh, really? Not even a feeling that there was? She continued to ask. No, not that I can remember. Why do you want to know, Sakura-chan? Oh, well, no reason, really. I just wanted to know, that's all. She replied, ending her sentence while laughing nervously. Naruto just shrugged as he finished his bowl. Sakura wasn't sure if she should tell him that she met his mother, let alone that she is his guardian angel. He would probably think she was crazy. Naruto, I have to go. I have to run some errands for my mother, Sakura said as she stood up, putting her red scarf around her neck. Naruto stood up as well. Do you want me to walk you home? Naruto offered, but Sakura shook her head. Thank you, Naruto, but I'm fine. Besides, it's still day, so there's no danger, she said as she smiled. Naruto smiled as well. You're right, Sakura-chan. I'll see you soon, right? Of course. Sakura smiled as she took a step forward to give Naruto a kiss on the cheek. She pulled back, only to see a shocked Naruto with a blush on his cheeks. She giggled as she blushed as well. Bye, she said as she walked away. Naruto was still shocked as his mind failed to remember what just happened. I knew she was your girlfriend, the manager said as he saw what happened. This remark made Naruto's face even redder. He turned his face towards the manager. She's not, he defended. The manager just shrugged as he continued his work. But I wish she was, Naruto whispered as he walked out Ichiraku's on his way home. Sakura never felt this good. She kicked the fallen leaves away that were on her path, as her scarf danced with the wind. She knew why she felt so good, because she was able to spend time with Naruto. She never want to lose him, ever again. While she walked on a leaf-covered path, she noticed something strange. There was no one around her. Normally, there would be a few people who would make their way to the market or the other way around. This is strange, Sakura thought, as she unconsciously began to walk faster. The wind began to blow harder, as the leaves started to twirl around her. She came to an abrupt halt, as if someone grabbed her feet. This chakra, it's enormous. She knew only one person who had this chakra. Behind me? She quickly turned around, only to see Sakura-chan. Naruto yelled as he ran towards her. Naruto? She whispered, surprised to see him. She looked before her again, only to notice that the huge chakra was gone. Although it was gone, Sakura had still an uneasy feeling. Naruto finally caught up. Sakura-chan, I'm glad I still got hold of you, he panted. What's up, Naruto? She asked, actually surprised to see him. Her heart began to beat faster, but she wasn't sure if it was because of what just happened, or because Naruto's here. Naruto began rubbing the back of his head, while blushing a bit. Well, I don't have anything to do, actually, so if it's okay if I help you with those errands? He held his eyes closed while grinning. Sakura softly smiled. Of course you can, Naruto. Naruto's blush disappeared and he smiled as well. He walked beside her, kicking away some leaves. But Sakura's uneasy feeling didn't go away. Naruto, did you felt something strange, just before you caught up with me? She asked him. Naruto looked at her. No, I didn't feel anything, he replied. Oh, then it's just me. Sakura smiled. More leaves began to fall down, and Sakura loved every sight of it. But somehow, the leaves were also slippery. Sakura took one step forward and, with her luck, she stepped on one of the wet leaves. She fell backwards, giving a little shriek. Sakura-chan? Naruto said, as both of them didn't notice that Sakura grabbed Naruto's jacket, bringing him down with her. They fell down with a thud, with Naruto on top of Sakura. Ow, 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 Sakura said, her eyes still closed. She felt something heavy on her. That can't be good. She slowly opened her eyes, only to be looking in Naruto's bright blue eyes. She didn't even notice that he was blushing, but she felt that she was. Are you okay, Sakura-chan? Naruto almost whispered, speaking with a soft voice. Why yeah, I'm fine, how about you? She also whispered, never looking away from his eyes. Yeah, was his only answer. Sakura couldn't blame him, she couldn't get much out as well. Without them noticing, their faces were drawn closer. Naruto, I think, Sakura began, but more than that didn't came out. Their lips barely touched each other, as she felt Naruto's lips moving on hers while he whispered, I know. I do too. He closed his eyes, as she did the same. He finally touched her lips, giving her a soft kiss. It wasn't a passionate or hard kiss, no, it was a soft kiss, an unexperienced kiss, like they were scared to go any further. Naruto never felt this happy. He finally kissed the girl he had a crush on for so long. But he now knew it was no longer a crush, it was real love. He loved her. Sakura felt the same way. The way he was kissing her, made her feel like she could fly. Her arms made their way to his neck, kissing him deeper. Unfortunately, it couldn't last forever. They were out of breath. They slowly pulled away, wanting to taste each other's lips just for a little bit longer until they broke away. They opened their eyes at the same time, seeing each other's gorgeous eyes again. Sakura-chan, Naruto whispered as he lifted his head just slightly. The wind began to blow harder again, as the leaves twirled around them. Suddenly, Sakura's eyes went wide, as she felt that same chakra again. Naruto, this chakra, Sakura said, fear in her voice. Naruto looked at her confused, what? But she didn't have to answer anymore, he was here. There was an evil laugh being heard from behind them. Naruto quickly stood up, while helping Sakura as well to stand up. He immediately stood before Sakura to protect her. Naruto-kun, seems like you are enjoying your day. Naruto was now sure that it was him. Naruto gritted his teeth, Orochimaru. Another evil laugh was heard as Orochimaru's body became visible right before Naruto and Sakura. Naruto began to sweat, he knew he was no match for Orochimaru. Sakura wasn't taking this light either. She knew what Orochimaru could do, she knew what he had done. Tears began to form in Sakura's eyes, tears of fear. It seems you were too strong for Sasuke-kun, am I correct? Orochimaru grinned, as he took little steps forward. Naruto actually growled. He didn't know from himself what happened, but he heard it in the hospital. What's it to you? Naruto asked, trying not to show his fear. Orochimaru grinned. Well, that just means I have to train Sasuke-kun harder, right? Naruto didn't say anything, he just glared hard at him. Orochimaru continued. But I don't need him to know your true weakness, right, Naruto-kun? He said, as he glared over Naruto's shoulder, right at Sakura who was frozen to the ground. Naruto noticed he was talking about Sakura. That made him even more angry. You leave her out of this. He yelled, forgetting his fear for a moment. Oh? Orochimaru said, and without warning, his neck became long and changed into snakeskin, aiming for Sakura. Naruto quickly grabbed a kunai from his side pocket to defend her and himself, but Orochimaru was too fast. He practically pushed Naruto away with his head, making Naruto fly backwards. Naruto! Sakura screamed as she wanted to go after him, but was stopped by Orochimaru. You're coming with me, he said as he quickly moved his head around her, making his neck some kind of rope to hold Sakura. He moved so quick, that she hadn't had the time to grab a kunai. Orochimaru had Sakura tightly in his grip, making it impossible for Sakura to escape. Let go, she said while struggling, but Orochimaru didn't move an inch. His head appeared on the right side of Sakura's head. Now, let's see if your prince can save you from this, he said, as he pulled his neck back in, making Sakura fly towards him. She shrieked as she couldn't escape. As Orochimaru's head was back on his lace, his neck turned normal, and for a split second, he let Sakura go. Only to make his arms longer and capture her again. His arms were a few times around her, so that she couldn't escape. You let her go right now, Naruto yelled, and began to attack him. Orochimaru could see his cold, red eyes. Orochimaru grinned, enjoying the show. You can have her back, Naruto-kun. Only if you are able to find me, and able to kill Sasuke-kun. This shocked both Naruto and Sakura. He wants Naruto to kill his pupil. Naruto was still outraged. No. Naruto screamed as he charged at Orochimaru. Orochimaru still grinned, as he jumped backwards, slowly disappearing with Sakura. Sakura noticed this, and began to struggle more. Naruto! Naruto! She screamed. She was able to free one arm, wanting to reach Naruto. Tears were falling down her face, as she wanted desperately to grab his hand. Naruto did the same, as he reached out to her while jumping towards her. Sakura-chan. He almost reached her, and when he did, Orochimaru disappeared, together with Sakura. Orochimaru left while his evil laugh was still heard. Naruto landed on his feet, his eyes once again turning back to blue, as he fell on his knees. The only thing he caught were Sakura's tears. Sakura-chan. Damn it, damn it, damn it. There was a pounding sound, a hard pounding sound on a table. Calm down, Naruto. We haven't lost yet, Tsunade said, with a rather angry voice. But I have. Naruto stopped pounding on the table, his hands feeling sore. He shut his eyes tight, his body shaking. Both Tsunade and Shizune didn't say anything. Tsunade sat behind her desk while leaning her head on the back of her hands. She closed her eyes, preparing for what she was about to say. You failed to protect her, she said, her eyes still closed. Naruto slightly opened his eyes as he looked down. Yes, I have. He barely managed to get out. She counted on you to save her, Tsunade said, slowly opening her eyes to look at Naruto. Yes, she did? Although Tsunade couldn't see his face very well, but she knew he was on the verge of tears. Tsunade-sama, Shizune said softly, wanting Tsunade to stop. Naruto didn't deserve this, he did the best he could, right? But Tsunade continued, do you want to save her? At this, Naruto's head shot up, looking fiercely at Tsunade. I would do anything. He quickly wiped the beginning tears from his eyes, and looked straight at Tsunade. Tsunade gave a little smile as she stood up, her face becoming serious again. Okay. Let's figure out together on how we are going to save Sakura, she said, looking at both Shizune and Naruto. Yes, Shizune and Naruto said at the same time, while walking towards Tsunade. What were his orders? Tsunade asked Naruto. Naruto took a deep breath. I had to find him, and kill Sasuke. Shizune gasped, shocked by what she heard. But Tsunade didn't move, nor did she flinch. I see. Are you going to? She asked Naruto. I don't know. Tsunade made an irritated sigh. How can you ever save Sakura when you are not determined about this? Tsunade almost yelled. How would you know, Tsunade-Obachan? Naruto yelled. Sasuke. Sasuke is my best friend. I fought so hard to bring him back. And I promised to Sakura-chan to bring him back. Naruto felt like he was totally misunderstood. You think I don't know? You think I don't know what it's like to lose someone dear to you? Tsunade asked, walking towards Naruto. Naruto stayed quiet. He didn't know about her past, but the way he saw her shaking with the fight with Orochimaru made him have a feeling that something horrible must have happened. If you don't know what you are going to do, Tsunade continued, then you are not suited for this mission. As if he was stabbed in the guts while hearing that, his eyes went wide, feeling weak in the legs. What? Tsunade-sama, Shizune said, clearly going to defend Naruto. How can you say that? Naruto is the only one who can do this mission. I am the only one who wants this mission. Naruto interrupted. Shizune and Tsunade looked at him. It seems he had recovered from Tsunade's words. He continued, I am the one who didn't protect Sakura-chan. I am the one who let Orochimaru get away. Even if you would take this mission, you wouldn't know where to look, right? Tsunade asked him, her arms crossed. This lowered Naruto's spirit. No, I don't. He suddenly felt a hand on his shoulder. He looked up, seeing Tsunade standing next to him, with a smiling Shizune on the background. Then, let's figure it out together. I might have an idea where his lair could be. Naruto smiled one of his big smiles. Alright. He looked outside the window, seeing the whole village from there. Just wait, Sakura-chan, just wait a little bit longer. I am going to save you, and then, I'm never letting you go. Where am I? Sakura said as she looked around her, seeing nothing but a large empty room. It was not her room, that's for sure. She noticed that was sitting on a bed, the only thing that was in that room. I must have passed out, she thought. Wait, what exactly happened? As soon as she asked herself that, she received flashbacks about what happened. She gritted her teeth. Orochimaru. She quickly stood up, but noticed that she didn't have any strength in her legs. She immediately fell down on the hard, cold ground. What did he do to me? Sakura said as she tried to move her legs, but they wouldn't budge. Good, you are finally up. Sakura shot her head up, looking towards the person who said that. Buto-san? Sakura looked rather surprised. What was he doing here? And rather, why did he wore the sound symbol? Did they caught you as well? She knew it was a silly thing to ask. She already knew that he wasn't a captive. He laughed, rather bitter. Silly little blossom, don't you see the symbol right here? He pointed to his headband. She was right. You dirty little? She growled. Kabuto wiggled with his finger, making a disapproval sign. Now, we aren't going to fight, are we, Sakura-san? He walked over to her, and kneeled down. I was only taking orders to be a spy. I do not see any harm in that. Shut up, she yelled, and lunged her fist at him. He stopped it with ease. Feeling a little weak everywhere, Sakura-san? He said while grinning. Sakura was shocked to see her punch stopped. She knew she couldn't move her legs, but did that affected her arms as well? What did you do? Sakura asked him, while feeling weaker with the second. Kabuto grinned even more. I am a medical ninja, I have my tricks. A medical ninja? Sakura thought. Just like Tsunade-sama and Shizune-san? Now, if you'll excuse me, Kabuto said, while standing up. I have to wait for Orochimaru-sama's orders. He walked away, leaving Sakura on the ground. Wait, she said. He actually stopped at her call and slightly turned his head towards Sakura. Sakura continued, what is he planning, that Orochimaru? Does he really want Naruto to kill Sasuke? She could practically hear him grin. Well, I don't need to answer that question, right Sakura-san? You know the answer already. Sakura's eyes widened in shock. No, she got out without her even noticing. Kabuto didn't say anything, but she knew he had an evil grin on his face. He closed the door behind him, leaving Sakura alone in the empty room. Tears formed in Sakura's eyes, and she didn't bother to wipe them away. She noticed that her hands were getting wet, meaning that the tears were already falling. All her hope was drained from her body. Naruto, don't come. She still couldn't get up, and she knew that her beginning medical ninjutsu couldn't heal her. What are you doing here? Sakura's head shot up. That was Kabuto's voice. You know you can't be here, you don't have the orders. Kabuto said, clearly talking to someone just outside Sakura's room. You should know that I do not take orders, not from you, not from him. A male's voice said, different than Kabuto's, a voice she knew all too well. I want to see her. The other person roughly said. Tisk, Kabuto said, and it seemed he gave up to stop the person. Sakura could hear footsteps fading. She figured that Kabuto left. Then the only one that was here was. It seems that you are still weak. The person said, who just came through the door of the room. She looked down again, not wanting to see him. She only softly whispered his name, Sasuke. He immediately noticed that she didn't call him Sasuke-kun. He walked towards her, his eyes not leaving her figure. She still refused to look at him. She wasn't ready to look at him. The memories from that night came back. The memory from her injury came back. She could hear the fabric of his clothes move really close to her, meaning that he was kneeling down in front of her. She wanted to run, she wanted to get away from him, she doesn't want to be here. Sakura. Wait, was he actually calling her by her name? Although she didn't wanted to, she slowly lifted her head, so that she could look him in the eyes. But his expression wasn't what she hoped it would be. It was still cold, with no emotion. She noticed something. He wasn't looking in her eyes, he was looking at where he stabbed her. Although it was completely healed, it, right now, was hurting her like hell. And as in reflex, her hand reached up to where her wound was. Does it still hurt? Sasuke asked, scaring Sakura by the sudden question. She looked away from him again, and no. She said, her voice so small, not like Sakura at all. So, it didn't kill you. Sakura didn't knew what it was, but that comment made her angry, pissed even. How could you say that? She blurted out, but she didn't care, she was mad. Did you wanted it to kill me? Was that your plan from the beginning? To kill both Naruto and me? How could you? To think that. I still believed in you. Sakura stopped, breathing hard. She didn't feel so good, she was sweating all over. Only Naruto. He said, with no emotion in his voice. What? Sakura said, still gasping for air. I was only out to kill Naruto, I didn't meant to harm you. Sakura couldn't believe what she was hearing. You were out to kill Naruto? Don't you have any emotion at all? Naruto is your friend. He was never my friend. Yes, he was and he still is. Do you know how much trouble he is going through just to get you back? Even if he saw you talking like this, he would still try to bring you back. Sakura retorted, he is just weak. No, Sasuke, you are the one who is weak. You are running away from us, don't you think that's weak? No, was his answer. You are unbelievable. Sakura muttered under her breath. How would you react if I kill Naruto? Sasuke asked Sakura, still no emotion heard in his voice. Are you serious? Sakura asked, eyes wide. Dead serious, Sasuke said. Suddenly, there was a hard slap echoing in the room. Sasuke's cheek burned, as his head was slightly tilted to the side. Sakura had slapped him. It wasn't an hard slap, simply because she didn't have her strength back. But because of her anger, it was hard enough. Sakura still had her arm in the air, breathing hard. She wasn't shocked at herself for slapping him. She actually wanted to slap him for a long time. Slap him back to his senses. For a moment, she could see a shocked expression on Sasuke's face. Sakura grinned at herself for such an victory, but it was for a short time, as Sasuke regained his emotionless face as he turned to her. Sakura showed no fear this time, she didn't care what happened to her now. She had shown her true feelings to him. He suddenly moved his arms around her and stood up, carrying her with him in bridal style. Sakura was confused at that moment. What is he planning? Sasuke walked over to her bed and lay her down. Since Sakura still hadn't regained strength in her legs, she couldn't run away. Soon, it's over, he said, as he made a quick movement with his right arm. Sakura felt a sting in her left arm. As she looked what he was doing, he was injecting her with something. Sakura managed to get out, before her eyelids became heavy, and that she couldn't move her body. She knew he injected her with a sleeping medicine. Then her world went black. Tsunade Obachan, let's go, hurry, Naruto yelled with anxiety while standing at the main gate of Konoha. Naruto, nothing good will come if you rush yourself like this, Tsunade said as she came walking towards Naruto together with Jiraiya. As long as I can do my research, I'll be fine. Jiraiya said, as he walked with both pen and paper. We are not going to do that, Ero Sennin. We have to save Sakura-chan. Yeah, I know. Jiraiya said, as he walked with Naruto. Before Tsunade went after them, she turned around. I trust you with Konoha, Shizune. We'll try to be back soon. She knew she could trust Shizune. She has as much knowledge as Tsunade. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Just, be careful, all three of you. Shizune said, concern clearly heard in her voice. Tsunade grinned with her eyes closed. Right, leave it to me. She quickly turned around and walked after Naruto and Jiraiya, who were waiting for her. And even after Tsunade said that, Shizune still had an uneasy feeling deep down.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.